To read more of my reviews, check out anifilereviews.com or follow me on Twitter at MasakoX or at Anifile. Today's review, Blue Spring Ride. Life is a very complicated beast. People whom you have a connection with can drift out of your life as easily as they drifted into it. That moment that you cherish and cling to in times of melancholy may not quite be what you had imagined should you ever get to see that special someone again later on in life, especially when both parties have changed significantly in the duration. Blue Spring Ride encapsulates this evolution in personality in a safe and leisurely manner, whilst also tugging at the heartstrings a tad. The story revolves around a girl named Futaba, a recluse whom was unpopular in middle school because she was popular with the boys. The jealousy which emanated from the other girls in her class made her an outcast. It didn't help that because of this, she developed a hatred of boys, which compounded her already lonely existence. That is until she meets Ko, a mysteriously sweet boy and classmate at a local shrine. There the pair bond and quickly develop a friendship before outside influences conspire against the pair, and Ko ends up leaving the school shortly after the summer break ends. 3 years later, Futaba is a different person from the middle school girl she once was. She puts on a persona in order to be popular, unattracted to boys, and not be a social misfit, and it shows. For her, life is good and stable until Ko comes back under a different name. He too is a different person, and the pair are aware of this. They have the past, but that's all it is now. Who are they? In any case, they don't give up, and over time they both start to get to know one another again, and Futaba especially reevaluates her life choices and starts to change back into the girl that she used to be, using traditional shoujo romance tropes along the way. Blue Spring Ride is a straight-up romance for a female audience. It is fit to burst with emotion and drama, and yet it doesn't get in your face. It could easily have become a vengeful and spiteful show about a girl who is bitter and broken after Ko's disappearance in middle school, but instead, Futaba is just confused and compliant. It's a lot more pragmatic than most anime would be in this situation. She doesn't scream at the top of her lungs her hatred for boys or be obnoxious. She just acts indifferently whilst also sprinkling in some comedic facial expressions and actions, which are more a representation of her inner emotions. Futaba is an emotional mess in her first year of high school. She has friends she doesn't really like, and is merely a player in the game of life rather than actually living it. It isn't until she meets Ko again that she realizes this and understands that she doesn't have to placate to social conformity and can feel more comfortable in herself and who she wants to be. This is further defined when Yuri, a girl in her group, is vilified by the female student body for being popular with boys and putting on a cute girl act for them, just like Futaba in middle school. It's there in front of her, and she doesn't take it anymore and chooses to ditch her friends and begin a new circle of friends as she enters her second year. Ko and Futaba do indeed start to grow closer again, albeit in a haphazard sort of way, with twists and turns and ups and downs, but it does happen. At the start of each episode, we usually see a flashback to the main character's middle school days, which add to the sea of memories the pair have, and how much fun they had. This contributes to the main arc in 2 ways. Firstly, it tells the audience that the pair were really close, and this wasn't some sort of flimsy one-time encounter you usually see. And secondly, it emphasizes how painful the loss of the Ko that Futaba once loved must be. That boy is gone, and in his place is a whole different guy with different airs and emotions, and yet she can't quite simply put the matter to rest. She wants to understand him instead of simply dismissing the new Ko. She wants to know what happened in the 3 years between middle school and high school. As the story moves on and we are introduced to more characters, we start to see the usual suspect of female romance stories: love triangles, heightened drama, whispering declarations, bitter side characters, and subplots up the yin-yang. These don't detract from the main plot, but it sort of brings the package down to earth a little bit instead of carving out a more unique furrow for itself. The animation and overall delivery of Blue Spring Ride is a decent affair. Production IG, as usual, puts in the required effort to construct something with above average visuals, which is pleasing to the eye, but nothing truly special or groundbreaking. It's a shame, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, if it looked like One Week Friends, it would be a way better show, just saying. The problem I had with the show was that the art style of the show's original manga, as designed by Io Sakisaka, doesn't work that well in anime form. It's not terrible or anything, and the proportions are all there and correct for the most part, but there is something about the eyes and mouth that put me off slightly. Sometimes Futaba's smile looks too big or her eyes differ in shape every now and again, but that being said, I do appreciate that Production IG and Sakisaka have managed to work together to maintain the original look of the manga. Some anime don't do that. In fact, most anime don't do that. But here, the original style is faithfully retained and stands out from the sea of moe that is all too common nowadays. Blue Spring Ride is indeed a fun ride. It may not be aimed at my target demographic, but I was moved by the plot and felt a strong amount of charm in Futaba's desire to transform herself rather than remain a slave to popularity. Screw that! She can be whoever she wants and be friends with whoever she wants. Nobody has to tell her what to do. It took Ko's return to realize how skewed she was, and it's clear that the two will get together in some way, so as to help their warped life paths become straight again, or at least straighter than before. I would recommend this anime as it is rather pleasant to watch, but if you you are a romance enthusiast, you will start to see the conventions of the genre pop up in the second act. If you think about it, actually, the show talks about being yourself and not complying to social norms, and yet complies to traditional plot devices in a typical anime romance. If only it hadn't, then it would be a fully rounded package. It's still fun though. Blue Spring Ride is available to stream on Crunchyroll. My rating? Continue. An admirable show with above average visuals, plot, and characters. If you like what you heard, please visit my Patreon campaign to help grow Anifile at patreon.com/MasakoX, or follow me on Twitter @MasakoX or @Anifile.